Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's affecting almost everyone across the globe, the rising cost of living. Whether you're shopping for groceries, paying bills, or planning your next vacation, you've likely noticed prices creeping higher and higher. But what's causing this? And what does it mean for our future? Stick around because we're breaking it all down for you. Let's start with the basics. Inflation. Now I know what you're thinking, John, please anything but economics. But bear with me because this is important. Inflation is basically the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services rises. Think of it like this. Remember that time you were a kid and you could buy a mountain of candy with just $1? Yeah, me too. Those were the good old days, right? Well, inflation is the wet blanket that slowly suffocates those memories because that same dollar today wouldn't even buy you a decent pack of gum. That, my friends, is inflation at work, reducing the purchasing power of your hard-earned money. Now, before you run screaming for the hills, let me just say that inflation isn't inherently a bad thing. It's a natural part of the economic cycle. In fact, a moderate level of inflation, around 2% per year, is actually considered healthy for a growing economy. It encourages spending and investment. Think of it like a Goldilocks situation. Too little inflation and the economy stagnates, too much and it feels like everything's on fire. But just the right amount and, well, things are good. It's all about balance. The problem is we're not always dealing with Goldilocks, are we? Sometimes the balance tips, sometimes we get the big bad wolf of inflation, and things get a little hairier. Prices rise rapidly, and it becomes harder to keep up. When inflation spikes like the double-digit increases we've seen in some countries, it creates challenges for everyone. Individuals, businesses, and even governments. It disrupts daily life. It's like trying to outrun a cheetah on a treadmill. You're working hard but getting nowhere fast. The faster you run, the more it feels like you're standing still. Chapter 4. Energy costs, fueling inflation, and our collective anxiety. Of course, no discussion about the rising cost of living would be complete without mentioning the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the oil tanker blocking the Suez Canal energy costs. This single event had a ripple effect on global trade and prices. Rising oil and gas prices are like the annoying friend who always invites themselves along on your vacation, and then insists on splitting the bill evenly even though they ordered everything, they just won't go away. They make everything more expensive, from transportation to production, and those costs, they trickle down through the entire supply chain. You better believe they get passed on to us, the consumers. Every item on the shelf seems to have a higher price tag. It's enough to make you want to invest in a donkey and start walking everywhere. Or, perhaps, dust off that old bicycle in the garage. Finally, let's not forget about the role of government policies. They play a significant part in this complex puzzle. Now, I'm not saying governments are intentionally trying to fuel inflation, but sometimes their actions have unintended consequences. Policies can be a double-edged sword. Massive stimulus packages and low interest rates, while well-intentioned, can inject a lot of money into the economy, which can sometimes lead to, you guessed it, more inflation. It's a delicate balance. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. It might seem like a good idea at the time, but it's probably going to make things worse. The solution can sometimes exacerbate the problem. Alright, so we've covered the what and the why of inflation, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How does this actually affect you and me on a day-to-day basis? Well, my friends, let me count the ways, starting with the most important one, your stomach. Groceries and essential items, those staples we all need to survive like bread, milk, and vegetables, are becoming more expensive.
Families are being forced to make tough choices, like cutting back on healthy foods or seeking out cheaper, less nutritious alternatives. And let's be real, nobody wants to tell their kids they can't have fresh fruit because the price of apples has gone bananas.
And if you thought grocery shopping was stressful, try navigating the housing market these days. Rent and home prices are skyrocketing in many areas, putting immense pressure on both buyers and renters. It's like playing a game of musical chairs where the music never stops and there's only one chair, and it's made of solid gold and also on fire.
People are being priced out of their own neighborhoods, forced to choose between smaller living spaces, longer commutes, or in some cases, even homelessness. And for those lucky enough to own a home, well, congratulations. You're sitting on an appreciating asset, but good luck finding a place to move to if you ever decide to sell.
And let's not forget about the silent killer of financial stability: inflation's impact on savings and investments. You see, high inflation erodes the value of your hard-earned savings over time. That money you've been diligently putting away for a rainy day, it's slowly losing its purchasing power like a melting ice cube in the summer sun.
This makes it absolutely crucial to invest wisely, to find ways to grow your money at a rate that outpaces inflation. Otherwise, you're essentially running in place financially, working hard just to stay afloat.
Look, I get it. Talking about inflation and rising prices is about as fun as listening to a dial-up modem connect. It's a topic that makes most of us want to run for the hills. It's stressful, it's confusing, and it can make you want to bury your head in the sand and pretend it's not happening. The constant barrage of bad news can feel overwhelming. But here's the thing: ignoring the problem won't make it go away. In fact, it might just make things worse in the long run. In fact, it'll probably just make things worse. The more we ignore it, the more it grows. But there is a glimmer of hope in all of this. We can find ways to cope, and even thrive. By understanding the causes and impacts of inflation, we can take proactive steps to protect ourselves. By arming ourselves with knowledge and a healthy dose of skepticism, we can make informed decisions. We can start to navigate these tough times and make smarter financial decisions. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support means a lot to us. Let us know in the comments how rising prices have affected you and what strategies you're using to cope. We love hearing from you. Until next time, stay safe and stay informed. We're all in this together.